All right, guys, what's up? Happy Sunday, February 23rd, 2025. It's about 3:08 p.m. Eastern here on this beautiful Sunday afternoon. It is 2 in the afternoon here in beautiful Costa Rica by the beach in Jaco. Beautiful. I know I got all this sunblock on my face, so I look like a ghost. That's because I was just out for a surf and I got to protect this pearly white skin of mine. You can't have the gringo getting burnt to a crisp while he's surfing out there. But had a great day. Bought a new board. I'll show you guys that. I'll upload a picture to either the channel or Discord or Instagram or something. I don't know. Or maybe I'll use the picture for the thumbnail of this video. Probably I'll do that. Sweet board. I got a sick deal on this board. It's exactly what I wanted. Those of you who surf, it's a 6'3", 6'4" fish. Just absolutely epic shape. I mean, I took it out for only about an hour today, and the conditions were shit because it was the middle of the day. I had to spend the good surfing hours this morning running around town looking for some stuff for my family. I get my kid a present that I promised her yesterday. So I missed the good surf doing that. And then I had to buy the board. So I didn't even have the board this morning. And I knew the surf would be shit around midday, but I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go out. So I went out and I probably caught like 5, 6 waves in about 40 minutes. And this board was just gliding into the waves perfectly. Super easy to pop up and ride. Super stoked, you guys. Just awesome. All right, so that's the surfing talk. Let's go ahead and get into the market talk. We'll do our full analysis here for the upcoming week. And I've got a couple of special announcements. If you didn't see the video I did last night talking about the Furus and some other stuff about what it takes to succeed in trading, I recommend you do that. It's a good video. It's from the heart. It's real talk. And I don't think you're going to get that from a lot of people out here who are having success. Most people are putting out some kind of persona. They're trying to be somebody they're not. They're projecting an image. I don't do that. This is me. If I have something real to say, I'll say it. I don't care about hurting feelings. I don't care about what my public perception is. I don't care about any of that shit. Um, that's the beauty about making your living trading. You really don't have to appease anybody. Like it's you against the markets, and if you can win, you don't have a boss. Nobody can tell you what to do. I mean, it's awesome. So you'll always get things straight from me. So go check that video out. In this video, we're going to just discuss all the major futures markets for the week ahead, what I expect, what I'm looking for, how I'm going to trade them. And I'm going to do something a little bit different the next couple of weeks because I don't have time to day trade like I normally do because I'm going to be putting together the course and all that kind of stuff. And I got to record those video lessons and put together the course outline and notes. And, it's going to be a very comprehensive course for you guys. I'm going to have beginner section, like total beginner section, intermediate section, advanced section. And it's going to take me, some serious effort and time to record those lessons over the next, probably 30 days, I guess, if I really am committed to doing a few lessons per day. So with that said, I'm not going to have the time to sit here and day trade like I normally do. But I thought, you know what? That'd be a good opportunity for me to test my end of day system. I've got 20 grand across 4 Top Step XFAs right now. And what I want to do, that call that I made on natural gas the other day that I didn't trade, but I made the call. I thought, you know what? When I'm making calls like that and I feel really good about an end of day pick, I'm just going to use one of my XFAs, risk whatever, 500 bucks, 600 bucks, 700 bucks. Just put my orders in. I'll tell you guys exactly where I'm putting my orders. I'll show you that I'm putting my orders there, whether it's going to, sell limit to get in with my stop and my target or buy limit to get in with my stop and my target. And then I'm just going to let it run the whole day. I'm not even going to mess with it until we get toward the close of the next day. So these are what I call my end of day picks. And it's not really swing trading because with the props, we can't hold overnight. But I know some props you can, but with Top Step right now, you can't. So it's basically just looking for really good opportunities. Try to pick off like 3-to-1 reward to risk type trades. If I risk 5, 6, 700 bucks, I want to make 1,500 to 2,000 and just see. I'm kind of curious to do an experiment over the next 30 days as I'm recording the course. What were the numbers on these picks that I made publicly in front of you guys? Were we 50% on those picks? And when we won, did we win on average 2.5-to-1 or 3-to-1 or whatever? We're going to look at these stats together. I think it's going to be a lot of fun because this is also, for those of you who have full-time jobs, you got families, maybe you don't want to sit in front of the screen too much. This is a great way to make money trading futures. You don't have to day trade and sit there and watch every tick. I enjoy doing that. That's why I do it. But if I'm not going to have the time now because I'm doing the course, I'm in Hako, I want to surf more, I want to hang out with my family for the next 30 days, kind of, beachy vacation mode, then why not just make money this way? You can still make an enormous amount of money putting on these types of end of day picks, assuming you've got a good system, which thankfully for us, we do. All right, let's go ahead and jump into it. And these are just high quality picks. It doesn't mean they're going to be right every time. It just means that they're going to really give us a good edge. And I'm betting that we're going to make money. So that's what we're going to do starting tonight. So with the ES, obviously a monster move to the downside on Friday. Did not see that coming at all. Don't want to pretend that I saw it coming. Still made a lot of money, which was awesome. You can go check out the Friday recap video if you haven't seen that, where you see that I think I made like 17 grand or something like that on Friday. Half of that was in my, no, more than half of that was in my live brokerage account, which was awesome. It was nice to spend a little bit of that today and get the surfboard. All right, so what I always do here on Sundays, and we'll start doing these every Sunday together, so we prepare, we lay the foundation for the upcoming week. This is what we got to do. This is the weekly chart right here for the ES. We're going to start with the ES. We're just going down the list over here. This is all the futures markets here. We're going to go down this list, okay? So I want to ask myself right here, what type of trading is the weekly chart in? Well, it's in congestion, right? Because we are getting closes. You see how that close was right at the middle of the moving average envelope, that green dot, right? So we closed kind of under it there, and then you pop back up, pop back down. So this is what's called congestion. So I have a choice to make. Do I expect congestion to continue and we go back up here? Or do I expect us to exit congestion and maybe try to get a weekly trend to the downside, or at least test these lows, right? Well, in order to answer that question, I got to look at the daily and say, well, what's the daily telling me? Well, here you can see we had major volume on Friday. We broke my pink dot on close. We closed at the low of the day. We broke the yellow dot. I mean, we broke a lot of daily support down in here, a lot, right? So I would expect heading into, tonight at the New York reopen and all day tomorrow, you're going to see enormous resistance up into this true average, that cyan dot around 60, 85-ish right in there. And really up into these two dots right here, 61.15. So that's your resistance zone right there for ES. Now, I'm not going to be trading ES tomorrow, but for those of you who day trade ES, I mean, if I was doing it, I would just wait for the intraday to go up into this zone. And if it does, I'd look for whatever confirmations you need, and I'd go short. I would be very, very careful from the long side tomorrow. I wouldn't play the long side. So just having that information, assuming the information is accurate, can be very, very helpful. And it's not accurate every day, but it's accurate most of the time, as you guys will see as you keep following the channel. So these indicators work very, very well. And if you follow them and pay attention to them, you're going to shift the odds onto your side more than probably you ever, thought you could. Just because of, these dots, guys, the calculations that go into this, they're not just like, oh, there's a dot. No, it's like a ton of different volume and price information from all these different charts, and they're super important levels, right? So just know that these are not like willy-nilly, oh, there's a dot there. Well, it broke that dot. So what? No, that's a big deal. So my guess here for ES is that we want to head lower and at least probably, look, stop number one. If these cyan dots at the weekly envelope bottom start to break, you got to look to the pink dot. If that breaks, you got to look to these lows. If these break, you're off to the races. But you take it one step at a time. Those of you trading ES, I would look for a short up into 60, 80 or higher. And I'd look for this market if it punches up, to probably test back down, something like that. Or, we may just open gap lower and fall out of bed. If that happens, you got to use your judgment on how to play that. So the question for me, is this good enough to put on an end of day pick on one of my XFAs? No, because in this situation, for my end of day picks, if I'm in a short, I like to look for a bar that's closing up near the high that I like, and I short to go back down, because that keeps my risk very manageable. In this case, what am I going to do? Am I going to set I don't know if price is even going to go up here. I know that's a very strong resistance zone. I'd feel comfortable shorting up there for sure. But if I'm not going to be watching the charts, because I'm going to be surfing and recording lessons and everything. So, do I set an order at 60, 85 and put a stop at 61.25. I don't really want to use that size stop, right? So, or do you set an order here and put a stop here? So, anyways, with that said, I don't see a good end of day play here for ES, so I'm not going to be setting an order on ES. But let's see if there's another market we can, find an order to set on. And for those of you day trading, I would highly recommend that you focus on the short side tomorrow. I think that'll increase your odds if you day trade ES or NQ or whatever. So let's look at NQ here. As you can see, a little bit different. It did hold the pink dot, but still just barely, and closed on the dead low of the day. So it's not like I would come in here and be like, hey, look, I'm going to buy this because I expect to move back up. Anything's possible, but I don't think that's going to happen. So for NQ, I'd also look to play the short side. Again, it's where are we going to open here in a few hours? I don't know. And that'll give me lots of information. I'll talk to you guys about that in Discord, what I'm seeing. But basically the analysis for NQ is the same as for ES. I wouldn't set an order here because I wouldn't know where to set it. I wouldn't pretend to know where to set it. But if I was going to day trade this tomorrow, which I'm not right now because I'm working on the course and all that, I would look to short, right up into here, 21,900 or higher. And with my system, I know how to look for where in the zone it's gonna. If I have a zone of resistance that's quite large, that I feel confident in, I use my intraday volume-based charts to show me, like, if we go up there, then I look for very certain, specific clues on whether or not that resistance level is strong, and then that's when I would initiate my short. So I do have a system for that, and I hope you guys do too. And if you don't, soon you will, because I'm going to talk about all this in the course, and you guys will be able to use this and make a lot of money. I mean, assuming you work hard and put in the effort. I'm not I'm not saying that it's going to come easy. That's certainly not the case. Trading is not easy. So let's look at the Dow. Well, I have a sip of I'm drinking so many fluids here, guys, because man, the humidity down here by the beach in Costa Rica is intense. So you're just sweating all day, especially me. I'm very active. So I'm just guzzling. It's water with just a tiny bit of apple juice for a little flavor. Ah, delicious. All right. So here is the Dow. I mean, very similar. You can see on the Dow, the difference is the monthly's in congestion here, right? We're already in congestion on the monthly. It looks like the monthly is on its way back down to that cyan dot envelope bottom, 42,000. So if the monthly needs to cycle, you see, this is all systematic and very logical once you learn how to connect the dots, right? Literally connect the dots. No pun intended here. But since the monthly is cycling, and if you want to frame the monthly, there's the resistance level, there's the support level. Well, when we're in congestion action, we enter congestion there, went back up there, and now we're probably going back down here, logically. So the only way that's going to, if you look at the monthly, you say, we're probably heading south back down here because that's what we do in congestion action or range bound markets. And I've got rules for that. And I can see the monthly is adhering to those rules for congestion range bound trading, where we cycle from one side of the envelope and all these dots to the other side of the envelope and all these dots. Well, the only way then that's going to happen is that if the monthly is going to make its way down there, what does the weekly have to do? Well, here as it's grinding higher, it has to break out to the downside. You're going to have to get a weekly trend reversal down in order to play out what you see on the monthly, if this is what you're expecting, right? So the weekly gave you a beautiful close just underneath the pink dot. That's very, very powerful in terms of, energy to the downside. And I would be looking to, play the short side for sure. So here's the thing. On the daily chart, would I just go in here willy-nilly? Same thing with ES and NQ and all that. Would I just set an order? No, I wouldn't do that. I'm going to wait. If the daily is trending down and I expect the weekly to keep trending because the monthly is cycling back down to its envelope bottom, then I'm going to wait for the Dow, the ES, the NQ, any of them, just to give me a little bit of a pop, give me a daily close like this, and I'll see where my dots are. And then right at the reopen of that day, I'll short, boom, put my stop in tight, look for my 3-to-1, 4-to-1. So you see how I'm laying the groundwork for the week ahead, and I know exactly what I want to do, and I let the market come to me. I don't force it, right? So Let me give you an example of this. So right now, if on the ES, the NQ, the Dow, and it's going to be the Russell the same. If I'm looking to short a daily pullback close as the daily is trending down because the weekly is breaking out to the downside because the monthly is cycling on its way back down to the envelope bottom and these congestion dots and all that. So then what am I looking for here in the daily? I'm looking to short the pops. Let me just give you an example. Last time the daily went into a trend run to the downside, like a good trend run. Well, here's the Dow here, just never ever pulled back at all right there. I'll give you an example here because I look for pullbacks. I'm not just going to chase because if you're chasing, how do you know where to get in and where to put your stop? The answer is you don't. You got to have some sort of a system. I mean, this could be an example here. Like here you see the daily, and these are the kind of things I'm going to teach, ad nauseum in the course. Go over so many examples on so many different markets. We're going to look at the yearly charts, the quarterly, the monthly. You're going to start to see how it all fits together, right? And what's cool about trading your own account is that you can hold overnight, right? So then sometimes I can run the weekly chart into the monthly chart and be like, hey, I really like, this market, whatever that is, for the whole week. I'm going to put on a position and just let it go the whole week. You can do that in your own brokerage account. I don't do that because I like to, manage my stuff at least day to day. But typically, I'm a day trader. That's just what I enjoy doing. But so here with the Dow, you see like here, this is you're trending down, trending down, trending down. It's really hard, especially if you're doing an end of day where you're setting an order and just it's hard to manage your risk like this, right? If you're day trading, you just look for pops into your resistance zones, like I've talked about, and you get short. That's not that hard. But when you're just setting an order like I'm going to do here for the next 30 days, you got to wait for really key levels. So like when this is trending down and then this pops back up, you see trend, 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 boom. Okay, we're going for congestion entrance, meaning we get a close on the other side of these dots. Then I got a decision to make. There's resistance here. This is the trend support low. That's our support coming across before these bars even happen. Now I got to make a decision. Do I expect this to be the start of a counter move trend reversal to the upside, or do I expect the congestion resistance level here to be strong and drive us back down to the envelope bottom, ultimately these lows, and get the trend run going? Well, this is the kind of situation I'm going to be looking for potentially, depending how price action plays out, on the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Dow, probably the Russell. I want to wait for a pullback. I would expect, based on what I'm seeing on these strong weekly momentum bars to the downside, based on what I'm seeing with the monthly picture, I would not expect the daily to trend reverse up this week. So if I get a pullback like this and a daily close like that, I would confidently short at the reopen, stop behind my congestion resistance level, and then target, my cyan dot or this low or whatever. Try and get my 3-to-1, get out, because we can't hold overnight for the prop firms, right? And this is one of the disadvantages, because on a move like this, you could just get short here, put your stop, and just let it go. That's an exhaust, big volume, right to that pink dot. That's a great spot to take profit. That's 43.1 to 42.5. It's 600 Dow points right there. That's nice. Anyways, it's just examples. I'm kind of trying to teach you guys a little bit here as we get into the real analysis for what we expect. So for the Dow, all that's to say, I'm not putting on an order on the Dow tonight, and now you understand why. All right, let's look at the Russell. Probably going to be much of the same, but we don't want to miss any of these trades. And I'm getting now back into cycling through all these markets. I've been so dialed in on the NASDAQ for so long now that it'll probably take me a few days just to kind of get dialed back in here with all these markets, but it comes very fast. All right, so with the Russell, same thing. I mean, look at the move to the downside right there on the weekly, re-challenging those lows. Daily here broke below, just like the ES, it broke the pink dot. That's another thing too with the NASDAQ. See, you use these markets together. Even though the NASDAQ held its pink dot, the ES, the Russell, and I think the Dow, they're all breaking to the downside hard. So what is NASDAQ just going to like hold firm and start rallying while the other ones are shitting the bed? I don't think so, right? I think they're all going to keep heading down. So with the Russell here, same thing. That true average is a good spot to look for resistance. If you play the Russell 2240, that's where I'd be looking to get short if I ran a day trading system. Again, would I set an order here to go short? And, because remember, I'm not going to look at the computer for 24 hours. And then where would my stop have to be? Back here. Do I want that for risk reward? No, I don't, right? So I'm going to wait for a pullback on the Russell. If it keeps dropping, wait for a pullback, see where we're at. If I like it, that's where I get short. Boom. Catch the continuation move like that. That's the kind of trader I am because I like to manage my risk. All right, so but much of the same. Russell looks weak, right? Let's go to the bond space. Let's see if there's a reason in bonds why the indices are maybe shitting the bed right now, right? Because you'll often see these correlations between the bond market, obviously the U.S. dollar. You can get a little information based on what some of the metals and the energies are doing, and you can look at all these as one cohesive package, right? So here's the 10-year Treasury, and so this is the 10-year Treasury note. You can see we're trying to push higher. Right? What happens when we push higher? There's an inverse correlation between rates, right? So as this pushes higher, it's people believing in U.S. Treasuries. So there's more demand for U.S. Treasuries. So the rate drops. That's genuinely good for the market. Generally, not genuinely, generally good for the market. But it doesn't always line up perfectly. So you got to have some experience in seeing how these correlations work. But I mean, one thing that I kind of find interesting is that if the market is falling out of bed right now, right? Because it's a pretty big move to the downside, and you get this pretty big move here. You see the opposite move. We got a big move into the 10-year Treasury notes on Friday. Is that it looks more like a flight to safety than anything else, right? We'll take a look at the U.S. dollar too. So the question for me would be, would I want to short this momentum, big volume? You are into that daily resistance level there, the pink dot, the yellow dot. But you see the weekly is pushing higher. We're not in congestion on the weekly technically, right? You know why we're not in congestion? We haven't had a close down below the middle of the moving average envelope. So we're still trending up. So if I'm trending up on the weekly like this, do I want to short the daily even though there's a decent pattern there? The answer is no. I don't want to go against that higher time period energy right now. So, on treasuries, I'm not going to do anything here for my end of day. Let's look at the 30-year. Pause it while I take a long drink of my water here. Yeah, so it's the same as the 10-year, although we broke the pink dot there. But look, you got your live weekly dots here. These are all locked now for this week. These are locked. Well, what happened? We closed above that one. We're closing above all this. So, if you close above all that, it's support right there, right? I'm not saying it's going to hold. I'm just saying, why would I? Because the reason I'm bringing this up is that sometimes these can be exhaust patterns where they push up like this. You got big volume, and then boom, this will just smash right back down. Those are great trades, but when I want to take those is when I see we're at a really good weekly or monthly level and I'm in line with what I think the weekly or the monthly energy is doing, right? That's very, very important. By the way, it's really funny on my desk that I brought with me. I'll show you the setup when I do the house tour. But we got a nice pool and stuff. It's really cool. When I set up this desk, there's like no windows open or anything, but I'll just randomly see like one ant going by like every 15 minutes. Like, where is this ant coming from? Anyway, it's kind of funny. I'm doing my analysis video and there goes the ant walking by. All right, so the 30-year, I'm not going to do anything. Let's look at the Ultra Bond. I seem to have very good internet here in this house, which is fantastic. Sierra Charts is loading much more quickly than usual. So here's the Ultra Bond. Not going to go into too much detail right now, but I certainly don't want to long that, and I don't want to short that. Oh, sorry. Let's look at gold. This will be interesting. I guess we're in the April contract. I haven't traded gold in a long time. I haven't traded anything but the NASDAQ for a long time. So, but Sierra Charts is usually pretty good about rolling over the charts. I gotta get a standing desk. I don't like sitting like this. Not good for the back. All right. So with gold, let's let this puppy load. Okay. So I believe you guys go check the video analysis, but I believe on Thursday night, the close of that bar there. Remember I said, I wouldn't really mess with gold, but the weekly is still pushing strongly. The monthly is still pushing. The quarterly is pushing. This is bullish, right? So I said, well, I would look for a buy anywhere down into my envelope bottom, cyan dot to the pink dot. That's your support zone. And that was a good spot. Good call. I didn't trade it, but for those of you who trade gold and watch these analysis videos, you can pick up on these nuggets and use them to your benefit, right? So that was a good call. Now we're right here in the middle What does gold want to do right here? I've got no idea. The weekly still pushing up strongly. I'm not going to mess with this. So these are the kind of moves you like, right? And I talked about this in the other video. You see this big down move in gold. It's right into this support pocket, and you've got a lot of support here. Those are the ones on the end of day where that's a very easy buy because you're in line with what the weekly, the monthly, like everything's heading up, and then the daily smashes down to shake out the week longs. That's where you want to buy. Tight stop. You don't get taken out, but put your stop below that low, below the near low. I got my key levels that I use for stops, but your risk is very limited compared to if this daily smashes down. Well, what are we in? We're in congestion, action, cycling based on the strength of the weekly and the monthly support and the direction of the weekly and the monthly. Would we expect the daily to break out to the downside and a trend run down? No. We would expect the daily to continue to cycle back up because it's in congestion, and we expect all that strong weekly and monthly support there to hold and drive the daily back up, right? So then in that case, if you buy it around 2,900 and you got a $20 stop, well, when it goes back up to 2,960, that's nice. You made 3-1 on your money on that trade. Those are the kind of trades I look for, and you can make a lot of money, trading those. So, all right, let's look at this. So for tomorrow, I'm not going to do anything on gold. Let's look at silver. My feet are getting chewed up because I'm walking everywhere in my sandals, and I just I hadn't worn my sandals a lot since I left Spain because Malta was cold, so I got to rebuild that strong skin on the top of my foot. It's just getting smoked by the leather strap on the sandals because I walk far in my sandals. I don't just walk from my car to the supermarket. Like I walk. All right, so here is silver. Silver, you got a little bit more action going on here. So we're starting to stall out here on the weekly, even though we are pushing higher, right? So then the example I just gave with gold, right? So with silver, you say, okay, well look, the daily is kind of in congestion here, right? Like you're going down. Now you had some bigger volume than the day before. We're closing right here at that support level, right? Do we expect the daily to cycle back up there? I mean, not really with what I'm seeing right now, because yeah, the weekly is grinding higher, that's true, but it's not exactly impressive. And look, I mean, the fact that we're closing below all this right here, I would say where you're going to have some weekly support is going to be down in here, right? So 32 is where I would consider buying silver if we had a good move down on the daily. So let's say the day. So if I think 32 is my weekly support level, right? Do I want to buy silver at 32.82? No. I don't care what silver does, but let's say tomorrow we get a move like that. We tag my pink dot, which ironically is also right at 32 on the daily. Let's say we see some buyers, and let's say we get a close like that. Okay, depending where my yellow dots are and everything for that next day over here, that would potentially be the spot to buy silver for a pushback higher because you'd be tagging that weekly support and then pushing back up. So this is how I find these trades. It's really cool. It's a lot of fun. And you might be sitting here thinking, Andy, this is fucking boring. Well, guess what, guys? I got news for you. This is trading is a job. It involves a lot of work, a lot of analysis. It's not just like, come on, just give me the good pick. You got to find it. All right, let's look at copper. Oh, tired. It's been a long weekend, moving from San Jose, Costa Rica, down here by the beach, running around town, grabbing a bunch of stuff, getting my surfboard. But it'll be nice now once that we're settling in. And we like Hako. I think we'll stay here for a few months. Um, Probably, maybe my wife will have the baby here. We'll see. Not sure. But in that case, we'd get a little bit of a longer term. Our place is nice, but we're about 2 blocks from the beach, and I would kind of want something right on the beach with an ocean view. I don't know what's available in Hako, but I think they've got pretty good stuff available. All right. So looking at the copper, daily chart, weekly, monthly, you can see that we're potentially setting up. You see how the monthly here on copper is you know, right here, we're cycling, although that pushed a little higher, but that just pushed back up to these highs. We tag the pink dot. There's a lot of resistance right now in copper at 4.6, right? So if there's a lot of resistance on copper at 4.6 right there, then on the weekly, you know, there should be a lot of resistance right up in here. So on the daily, up around 4.6 up in here. So let's say the daily, you know, does manage to kind of stick its head back up in here and give me a close like that. You know, would I short that? Maybe. We'll have to see what it does, because that's where you have all your resistance. And then you ask yourself, well, Andy, look, we're right at this pink dot right here on the weekly. You got these two. Why don't you want to buy this? Well, I don't want to buy this because of what I see on the monthly. We're coming out of all this resistance. So even though I'm at a weekly support level, do I want to buy weekly support when it's being pushed down on strong by monthly resistance? No, because the monthly is stronger than the weekly. The weekly stronger than the daily. The quarterly stronger than the monthly. The yearly stronger than everything, right? This is important stuff. And when you start to see how this all fits together, that's how you can get a really good edge in your trading. I use the same process on my intraday charts. I'm just not using, I'm using like the 10,000 volume NASDAQ chart into the 50,000. And it's still very important. Like I look at what the 50,000 is doing in relation to the daily chart. And then I use the 10,000 volume intraday chart as my sort of confirmation, entry trade management chart. But they all work together. And I know this may sound a little confusing. It's really not. It's kind of like learning to speak a language. If you put a little effort, you'll start to understand the language, and then it just becomes very natural. Let's look at platinum. How long we've been going here already? 31 minutes. That's not bad. I'm getting through these markets. I think you guys are getting a lot of valuable insights. And I'm explaining things. It wouldn't be fun if I just went through this and like, okay, don't want to take a trade there. Don't want to take a trade. No. I'm explaining you, trying to teach you and explain to you why I'm making a decision not to take a trade on a certain market. And I'm also trying to give you guys little nuggets on, hey, if you are going to be trading ES or NQ, I won't be, but if you will be, maybe you want to look for this, right? So that's what I'm trying to do here. And if I find any trades I like, I will tell you and I will set the orders. And tomorrow when I come back, I'll look at the screen and go, well, I either lost $500 or $600 or I made whatever. Like that's how I'm going to do it. And we'll do it all live. I'll just call it out. I mean, that's one thing. I don't think there's a lot of people out there on YouTube that are calling trades out like this on a daily basis, setting the order before it happens. I know what, like right now I can do that because we have such a small following, but once people start to see that it's working, there's probably going to be fraudsters out there like the ones I'm calling out in my video from last night who, when I post my analysis and give my levels, they're probably going to sell my fucking information as their signals to other people. So it's going to get crazy, guys, but whatever. I mean, at some point I'll have to put all this behind like an area where the fraudsters can't get, but for now, who cares? As long as we're making money. All right, here's platinum. So you'll recall on platinum, see, and this is the thing too, as we do this now day by day by day, because we're going to do this analysis every day at the market close, right? We're going to talk about, hey, did we have a trade on? How did it do? Did we win? Did we lose? What's happening now? You get into the flow of these markets. And I say that because for those of you who watched the video a couple days ago, remember platinum here? We talked about this, right? The daily was bombing down, and we did our end of day analysis on the close of that day right there. And what did I say? I said, well, you got a little bit of a flash here. That could be some support. You got these yellow dots that are underneath us. Well, if they're under us, that's support. Oh, gee, by the way, we're right at the pink dot on the weekly. Well, and the cyan, that's all support, right? So I said, I wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit of a bounce from here at the open, boom, back up to here, right? Well, it didn't go very far, and I didn't take that trade, just like I didn't take natural gas. But you can see the information is valuable, right? And I didn't, the thing that threw me off about this one was the volume right there, right? I want to see more volume on that right there. When we look at natural gas, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Anyway, so I say all that because now you start to connect the pieces, the information from one day to the next. Well, we know that this support level has been holding, right? But do I expect it to keep holding? No, I don't. Even though we're at that weekly support level there, look at the monthly. What's the monthly doing? I mean, the monthly right now looks like it wants to head all the way back down here. looks like it's cycling, right? So if that's the case, probably going to be a lot of resistance on the weekly, up here and the pink dot, the middle of the moving average envelope, all this 1010, right? So if 1010 is my strong level for platinum this week, right? Well, there's 1010 on the daily. Make a note of that. Let's dare the daily to go back up here, give us a nice pattern, short, and bang, join the party. That's what we're looking for. And that's what gets me excited. So as I get more into the flow of doing these analysis, for myself and my own trading and sharing with you guys, I'm going to put notes in the Discord where I say to you guys like, hey, look, this week for ES, NQ, YM, RTY for the indices, we're looking, the daily's trending now. We expect the weekly to be weak because the monthly looks like it's weak. So if the daily gives us a pop, that's what we're waiting for. Okay, hey, Discord, that's what I'm waiting for. And then if it happens, we'll see if we want to short, right? Same thing here, like platinum. We want to make a note in Discord. All right, if we get up near 1010 in platinum and the daily's giving us a good read and we want to short, that's the spot where we got to make our decision. Until then, who cares, right? And then as the week develops, we see more things, obviously. But I think you guys are getting it. You guys getting it? Let me know. Just if you get it, put down if you've made it this far, congratulations. It means you're dedicated. You want to learn. You're watching the video. You understand that trading takes work. So if you get it, you can make any other comment below the video. You can ask me questions and I'll get back to you or whatever. But if you get it, just type "I get it" in the comment section, and I'll know what you mean, and I'll be laughing if I see a lot of you say "I get it." I hope you guys get it. All right, let's go ahead and look at crude. I'll pause while it loads. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go through all these markets and say, okay, generally, indices, what do we expect? Okay, the bond market, what do we expect? The metals markets, what do we expect? The energies, what do we expect? And we get our game plan together for the whole week. And then we just take it day by day by day, which is awesome. So I'm going to pause while this loads, take a drink of my water and apple juice. All right. Well, crude shit the bed on Friday with everything else, right? So I remember on the video analysis I did, I said, like, I don't really know what's going on with crude. I wouldn't trade it. I said there could be some support there. Watch that level. Obviously, that got blown out, right? Same thing with the indices. I said on NQ, I said, oh, there should be some support. I can't remember the exact number, but you guys know what I mean from the analysis video. And when I saw that get blown out, that's when I went short on my other accounts and made all that money, right? So just because you see a level, you always got to look for if the level is strong or not. Now, the reason that this got blown out, I can see, is because of the monthly. And I think this is what I was talking about on that analysis video from last week. I think it was whenever that was, Thursday night. You see how the monthly, I told you, be careful of this, like all the way up to 78 and then close all the way back down. Remember, this is the January monthly bar. That's a strong bar. Look what happens. It closes right underneath the pink dot, the true average. 74 on the monthly is a strong, strong resistance level. And, we could be cycling back down. The quarterly's in congestion action, cycling. So if the quarterly's trying to cycle back down to its envelope bottom, that means the monthly's trying to go back down to its envelope bottom. The weekly's trending down. So, the daily looks like it wants to get us there. Closing below the pink dots, you got a lot of resistance up in here. So right now, I think the energy with crude is to the downside. So the same thing. We just be looking for some sort of a pop to get short. Now, is that going to happen? I don't know, but we're going to monitor this every day. The point is, do I want to go long crude right now? No. Do I want to go long the indices? No, right? It doesn't mean at some point during the week I might not see a really good exhaust that I want to take a counter trend trade on. That could happen. But for right now, starting the week, this is, we're using the analysis to try to keep us on the right side of the market and make good decisions. Whether you're going to set your orders like me at the end of the day, or you're going to day trade these markets or whatever, you really want to have a good idea of, the overall higher time period directional bias, which is what we're looking at here. So for crude, I don't see anything I want to set an order on, but I would be willing to short pops this week, depending on what I see. So let's keep an eye on that. Let's look at the RBOB, the gasoline. Let this puppy load. I'll pause it for you guys. Guys, while this is loading, I got to tell you a funny story. Today when I was doing some shopping down in Jaco, Central Jaco, this woman comes up to me and she's holding like a huge box of Cohiba cigars. And, I love cigars. I was like, those are Cohibas, Cubans. She's like, yeah, yeah. I was like, how much for the box? They're like 50 in there. She's like, oh, it'll be, blah blah blah. I was like, all right, but how do I know that they're Cubans? Like, how do I know you're not just full of shit? And she's like, all right, well, take one of them. I was like, all right. She goes, take one of them, have it tonight, and let me know if you like it. Here's my card, and if you really like it, I'll deliver a box to you. I was like, fucking game on. What a saleswoman. Great. So tonight I'm going to try that Cohiba, see if it is a Cohiba, because these were a pretty good deal. I mean, these Cohibas are expensive normally, right? I mean, these were expensive, but not anywhere near what you'd pay in the U.S. for one of these Cohibas. For one of these in the U.S., I think you'd pay $50. I'll have to check it. Let's check it right now. I'm kind of curious. We need a break from this analysis, and then we'll pick back up with all the markets. Let me find this Cohiba. All right, guys, we just got to do this real quick. We'll get back to the analysis. I just think this is so much fun. This just gives my brain a break. So, how to spot a fake Cohiba? This is awesome. Okay, one, two. So let's see what this says, because then I'll go downstairs and get the Cohiba she gave me, and then we'll see if it's a fake Cohiba. So holographic Taino Indian head, front and center on the band. Okay, look closer. You see that there's a smaller head within the larger. Interesting. This head within a head effect is telling sign that the band is authentic. Okay, so it's holographic elements, 9 white squares. So that's number. So what does that mean? That means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so it's 9. God, that's an easy one to identify. Repeating logos. Yeah. Embossed lettering. So the famous Cohiba on white background with a square. Oh, right. Okay. Right there. Gold border embossed with proper. So let's just see. Sorry, guys. If you don't like this, just fast forward to when I start analyzing again. I gotta have some fun. Okay. So are they saying yeah? Because that's like gold outside that, right? All right. Let me go get my cigar. We'll take a look for those who care. All right, guys. We got the Cohiba here. Right there. See? Let's count the squares. That'll be the easiest thing here. Sorry. I ran down the stairs fast to go get this. Okay, let's count the squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 1, 2. And again, here, I'll pause while I count these squares, guys. Guys, my verdict is that it's a fake Cohiba because I don't see the holographic thing inside the head. I see like there are 9 rows of squares, but then there's also like another row starting that got cut off. There's nothing holographic. So my verdict is fake Cohiba, but the tobacco's real and it smells good. So I'm curious to smoke this puppy tonight, and I will let you guys know. But at least we now know how to identify a fake Cohiba. Because I know that these real Cohibas are not cheap. And then she was selling them for a pretty good price. I'm like, oh, that wouldn't be too bad. But now that we know they're fake, but if they're still good, I might just tell her, like, hey, look, lady, I know they're fake, but still decent cigars. But now the price goes down. All right. There's our Cohiba research for the day. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Let's get to RBOB gasoline. Let me go put my cigar back because I got the AC on in this room and I don't want to dry it out. All right, guys, that was fun. We know the Cohiba's fake. Now the next question is it good? All right, so RBOB, same as crude. Big move to the downside here. Broke the pink dots. I think, especially with that volume, probably going to be looking to push lower is my guess. Again, am I going to trade that? No, I'm just going to be watching it for pullbacks. That's what I do, guys. I'm very picky. But it looks like the monthly wants to cycle back down. So we're starting to get a theme here, right? The indices are, heading lower. Energies are heading lower. Bonds were getting bid, probably safe haven buying. We'll see with the dollar. If the dollar caught a bid, it probably did. And in that case, we could see a little bit of a risk off week, potentially. We haven't had one of those in a long time. So could be some unwinding going on, which would be fun. It'll increase the volatility. All right, so we'll monitor crude, RBOB. Let's look at heating oil. Pause while it loads. Wow, there's a huge lizard outside, guys. That is awesome. I got to film that and upload it to Discord. Hang on. Guys, I saw a huge, like, I don't even, it was like an iguana. I don't know what it is, but I'll upload the video later so you can see it. Really cool. I had to film it. And anyways, the heating oil charts are loading. So my view here out where I do my analysis is like looking out over a little jungle by the beach. It's beautiful. All right, so heating oil, look at that on the quarterly. I think we talked about this. You know, probably gonna go like that. But that quarterly is not going to close until the end of March, remember. But still, we're in this resistance right now. It's very valid. But the monthly there, you still got a lot of support in here temporarily, right? But you're kind of wrestling between resistance and support. Weekly's kind of cycling, so probably going to want to head at least back down here. Daily's confirming with push to the downside, so you know, probably going to look for continued resistance, you know, as it heads lower. Again, if we get a pop one of these days and we want to short, and it could, the pop could happen on the same markets, you know, on the same day. And in that case, you depending how many accounts you have, like you got to decide which one you want to pick, right? So we'll get there. We're doing this day by day. Am I going to take anything right now on heating oil? No. Let's look at natural gas. Mohammed from Discord, you're going to like this. You love natural gas. I understand that. So we'll see what we got for you, my friend. I'm going to pause it while it loads. All right. Yeah, I brought my wife and my daughter in the room to look at there was another huge, like, iguana dragon, like, super cool. All right, so here's natural gas. I mean, we can see this is one we've been talking about. That was the pick that I liked, shorting right up in here. Good call. And then I said, I mean, when it pulled back, I said, I think you're going to see some strength because you see the daily hasn't gone for congestion. It hasn't rolled over yet, but this week, I mean, I'll tell you, that's a pretty big weekly exhaust right there, right into this area. You got, I would have liked to see it close below that true average. We didn't. So I wouldn't, what I'd be looking for this week for natural gas, Mohammed, specifically for you, my friend, is a push kind of above these highs. Let's see if the daily can try and push up like that and then maybe get rejected and give us a, you know, a close like that below the middle of the moving average envelope, then I'd start looking to short. So that's what I'm going to wait for on natural gas. I'm not going to rush, but that's what I'm looking for. So I hope that helps. All right, let's go ahead and look at the currencies, starting with the euro. All right, so looking at the euro here, I mean, we didn't really like collapse. You know, when this goes down, the dollar gets stronger, right? So we didn't have a huge flight into the dollar. That's kind of interesting. Euro's holding up pretty well. I mean, we're still at 104.72, so the dollar is pretty strong overall. But you know, looking at the weekly, we're kind of cycling. So I would say you're probably going to continue to have a lot of resistance right up in here on the euro, especially these yellow dots up in here. So I'm not going to do anything with this on the euro, but if we try to punch up there and got a little flash pattern, that could be good for a short back down. It's kind of what I'm looking for on the euro this week. I'm going to look for the dollar to keep getting stronger, but I want to, you know, try and see if we can get up there to resistance first. I don't really trade the currencies, but since we're looking at end of days, we got to look at all the markets here. Let's look at the pound. And guys, while this is loading, I might as well share some tidbits with you. I think the number one thing that keeps people from success in trading is, well, of course, hard work and an edge and all that, but it's fear. It's fear of losing. And then when people lose, someone in the Discord mentioned this. I can't remember what they said exactly, but it's like every time they take a loss, it's hard. Like it affects them to take the next trade. And I get that. I mean, that's if you can get over the fear of loss, but then you got to balance it, right? Because you can easily go from like, oh, I've got no fear to like fucking YOLOing. And yeah, okay, just because you don't have a fear of loss because you don't want to YOLO, like you got to find that balance where, yeah, you don't have fear, but you're still also very, very careful. Pick your spots correctly and don't YOLO, right? So people kind of swing, and I know this because I used to do this too a long time ago. You swing from one back to the other, back to the other. And then you, with enough time and practice, you'll get that centered in on no fear, but also you're not being, you know, a huge YOLOer, which you don't want to be. So here's the pound. Kind of a mess right now. the monthly's going for congestion entrance up, so you got a lot of support on the pound. Interesting. So, I mean, on the pound, I might look to, if we get a daily buy pattern down here, could potentially be interested in buying the pound. We'll see. We'll see. It's not really clear, but what do you see here? You see, like, okay, if the dollar looks like it's kind of stronger against the euro but weaker against the pound, those of you like currencies, what would you do with the euro pound cross pair, right? Probably look for that sucker to head lower because we expect a stronger pound against the dollar and a weaker euro against the dollar. Interesting. All right, let's go ahead and look at the Swiss franc. Whenever I say the Swiss franc, this German voice always comes into my head and goes, Die Schweizer Franke. I spent a lot of time in Germany, Sweden, got all these weird languages pumping around in my head. All right, so with the Swiss franc here, it's kind of a mess. Can already see that I don't really have a good read on it. Excuse me, guys. So here on the weekly, it's kind of conflicting. I don't even see anything I even want to talk about on the Swiss franc. Let's look at the Canadian dollar. Pause while it loads. Yeah, kind of hard, kind of a mixed bag here as well. But at least on the monthly with the Canadian dollar, you got some nice resistance temporarily right here for sure. So is that monthly resistance going to be strong enough to send the weekly, back down to, I don't know, see, because it's tight, right? Because on the monthly, you get some support here. I'm not feeling the CAD right now. The pound, I kind of like looking for maybe buys this week. We'll see how it plays out. I got to see. And the euro potentially shorts, but we'll see. The Swissie's not clear. CAD's not really clear. Here's the Australian dollar is kind of similar to CAD, as you can see. Not really getting a clear situation on the weekly. I mean, you do have a nice little flash there, but again, even if you got the flash, yeah, you're under the true average. But look, the good one, you want that pink dot above you if you think this thing's going to go down. So that's why I'm like, you're stuck between resistance and support on the weekly. I don't want to mess with that. So I'm guessing the New Zealand dollar will be the same, but we will look at it anyways. You got a little bit more room maybe on the New Zealand dollar. You got a lot of resistance here on the monthly. At least the weekly, you've got some resistance there at 57.60, and you have a chance to at least get back down here. So that could potentially be better. Sorry, I got interrupted by the kid there. But yeah, I mean, if we got to push up on the daily up to 57.60 up here, I'm looking for a pattern. So I wouldn't just short this, but you got some resistance there on the New Zealand dollar. Let's look at the yen, and then we'll get into the grains and finish off with the meats, and then we'll do a summary of everything. I got to get a haircut soon. Getting a little wild here. All right, so with the yen pushing higher, yeah, the yen looks pretty strong for right now. So I think at this point, I mean, this daily trend run looks strong. So if the daily pulls back, maybe consider a buy, but we'll keep an eye on that for this week. Let's look at corn. And let's just, we got to roll over here. Okay, so ZCH, what contract are we in? Are we in ZCK, I guess? I don't know. Well, let's see. Let me check bar chart real quick. See, guys, I like to use bar chart to check the correct contracts. So here you can see corn. March has 168, but May has 225. So we are in the May contract. That's good to know. So now we are on May here. Go ahead and change May on the scoreboard. And we will do the same for the others. Give me one sec. Well, let's just look at corn here real quick. All right, so corn, I mean, look at, I think we talked about this. Got a nice little push up here, a lot of resistance potentially into that level. What's the yearly doing on corn? Yeah, interesting. Monthly still kind of strong here, a little on the monthly. Weekly kind of pulling back. I think you can have a tug of war up here. This could be a good buy on corn. I mean, yeah, the daily's breaking out. See, these are the kind of things I look at. The daily's breaking out here, but look at these pink dots. Boom and boom. Big volume. I like that. So where are we on the weekly? Well, we're trending up, you see, and the daily's trying to buck that. The monthly still looks pretty elevated here. I mean, it looks well supported. You know, you are running into that quarterly level, but we don't know. By the end of the quarter, corn could be breaking those levels. So we don't know that yet, right? We know on the weekly we've got this live support pocket, and as soon as this week starts to open, probably get something like that. We got the pink dot. We got all this right here. So the weekly could try to just tag that and push higher, right? So where's that at? Because I always, if I think I like to buy on the daily, I got to say, okay, but where am I on the weekly? On the monthly, yeah, we're okay. But the weekly, I mean, yeah, we're at the middle, that we're pulling back to the middle of the moving average envelope. It's true. Yeah, it's not horrible. So let's see what this price is. 501.50. So somewhere like 502. 502 maybe. Like let's see if we can find an example. This is where I like to do scenario analysis, where see if we can find a situation where corn was pushing down like that on the daily. Yeah, something like this. So you see here, this one, the pink dots didn't hold, but a similar thing. You see how it broke the lows, fished lower, and then straight back up. So if 502 is sort of the level that I like on the weekly, and I don't really mind this daily, would I want to set an order to buy 502 corn here, right? May corn, 502, have it try and tag down, and then maybe push back up and close, you know, like that. I know, you're like, Andy, you're nuts. How do you know that's going to happen? I don't know it's going to happen. I'm just putting together the analysis, and it could happen. So if I like getting long at 502, you know, at the same time, this could also happen, right? It could just go like that, and then boom, like that. You know, we just don't know. But the fact that this held on close, that's important. And, you know, we also do have the middle of the moving average envelope trough. What's a trough? Let's get my pen out. A trough is like this. See the trough or the cup right there? And then this is like a peak. These are important. You'll see price likes to come back and test those sometimes, like that one right there. See? This will all be in the course, guys. So where's that trough coming across? Well, right about 502. I don't know. You know, I might take a stab at like setting a long order on one of my Top Step XFAs for some 502 corn. The risk on that, you know, I don't think I'd give it much. You know, maybe I don't think I would give it to behind that yellow dot. I really don't, because it shouldn't get down there if this is correct. I'm going to think about this. This one might be interesting. Let's see if we can find. This is called scenario analysis, guys. This is what I do once I see something I like. I go back and I look for similar situations and see how that played out. So something like that, you see, it snakes down there and gets bought back up. That's kind of what I'm looking for. Like so that's why you see I wouldn't put the stop below the yellow dot, right? Because if you're wrong and it's going to bomb down there, you might as well have your stop tighter. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. And you can see corn likes to snake, like here. Look at the lightning flash. Beautiful. Exhaust, big volume. And you see how it like to snake below the low and then rip back up. So let's see as we do this scenario analysis. Where's that at? That's at, 443. It kind of snaked below 441, so 2 points, right? Let's get the so 442.50 to 441, 2.25 points is kind of how much it snaked below there. Say, Andy, this is so boring. I know, guys. Making money. Look, I think making money is fun, which is why I think this is fun. But this is like maybe my undergraduate education at Loyola, my 2 master's degrees at Gonzaga and ASU, maybe prepared me for this kind of work. I enjoy this, and I think if you don't enjoy this, you're probably not going to be a successful trader. So save yourself the time and the effort and get a better hobby that's cheaper. That would be my suggestion. 444.25, 443. Yeah, so that's snake below. Guys, I think I will set an order there. So you see the low there is 504.25. So 503, 5027, somewhere there, I think. You see it's right at my trough. 502.25. So 502.75. 503, because you don't want to miss it either. So just, I might try and go long like 503 and then, stop like 500 and a half, something like that. And look, we could get filled. It snakes lower, takes us out, like whatever. I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. I'm just trying to set up a trade that gives me probabilities. So that's one that I'm going to be really thinking about. I know corn, I haven't traded it in a while. I know it has different opening hours. Let's go ahead and just check that real quick. Corn futures opening hours. I think it's like 9 p.m. Eastern or something as opposed to 6 p.m. Eastern, which is good. Then we got more time to think about corn, discuss it in the Discord, see how we all feel about it. Let's see. We don't want holiday trading hours, do we? Here we go. The grains. Pretty sure it's 9 or like 9:20 p.m. Eastern. So, or is it 7? Oh, these are central. Okay, so it's 8. So it opens at 8 Eastern. But see, then the question with Top Step, am I allowed to hold? You guys tell me. Am I allowed to hold through that pause before, and then it reopens and then closes at 2:15 p.m. Eastern? So that 8:45 a.m. Eastern to 9:30 a.m. Eastern pause with Top Step, am I allowed to hold through that? You guys know that answer? Let me know. Interesting. All right. Doing our research. Anyways, corn. I like it. Let's look at wheat. Wheat is already on the May contract. Nice. Let's pause while we load. As opposed to whistling while we work, we're pausing while we're loading. All right. So interesting here with, I think, is my child here? Do you want to say hi to the people? Well, they're going to watch this video later. They're going to see the camera there. Here, you say hi to the people, and then I got to do my work. But here, I'm going to put you on my knee. Don't touch anything. Oh, look, you're on the TV. You're famous. You see yourself? Look in the camera. Say hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
Say, what do you want to tell them? Okay, I have a question for you. Should we buy corn or not? Which one do you think? Yes or no?
And let's buy corn.
Okay, there it is. Let's buy corn. Guys, this was not scripted. We got to buy corn right now. I was waiting to see what you said. Let's buy it. Okay. I love you. Okay, go to your mommy. I got to do more work. Thank you. We'll buy corn. Whatever money we make, I'll give you half, okay?
I'll eat all the corn.
You'll eat all the corn. You can buy lots of toys with all your corn money. Okay. I love you. All right. Well, I think we have our answer. I think we got to buy corn. Lily agrees. All right, let's look at wheat here. That was fun. That was very. She doesn't usually come in while I'm working, so I don't know what was going on there, but cool. Might have to buy some corn. Lily agrees. So here's wheat. Same thing. You're kind of running into that resistance level on in the monthly, this case. In wheat, you're trending up pretty strongly. You've got some support here. You know, I don't think I would buy wheat here, right? Although I could definitely see evidence that you could pick that support up and go like that. So I like corn better for now. Let's look at soybeans. Maybe I have to roll over here. Let's see. Yeah, let's roll over. There we go. We're rolling over. I'll pause. All right, looking at soybeans here. You got some nice support down in here, I think. Weekly's kind of cycling, held, pushing higher. You got this support in here. Could push back up in here for sure. So I'm not gonna like buy right here on soybeans, but you know, let's just say like we get a move like that, and then we close like that tomorrow. Yeah, I would buy soybeans for a move back up like that. So that's what I'm waiting for on soybeans. Might happen, might not. Right now, corn is my top pick for tonight's open. Like put the order in and just let it go. But I gotta do some research. You guys can help me. Tell me in the comment section below. Go join Discord. Link is in the description below the video. And tell me what you think about Top Step. Are we allowed to hold through that pause of the grains? Because they always pause them for 45 minutes from 8:45 to 9:30 a.m. Eastern. All right, let's look at some soybean meal, and then we'll look at soybean oil. I know I'm like scratching like my nose and my neck. It's because I just got out of the salt water and came right in here and started doing the video for you guys. I didn't even have time to shower, so I'm very, very salty and itchy, but it's all good. The show must go on. I was in the ocean, guys. I was paddling, catching my waves, and I was like, I got to get back and do the video. It needs to be out before 6 p.m. Eastern when the markets reopen so we can rock and roll. That's kind of the point. Oh, by the way, this is the first time, guys, in like a while I'm sleeping on an awesome bed finally because you know that place in Malta we had was well when we were in Spain I had a pretty good bed to be honest. But when we were in Malta, man, like the girls, they sleep in the same bed. I sleep in a different room where I have my office, I do my work. So they always get the best bed. And then like my room lately, like no matter what Airbnb we've been in, and we're taking pretty expensive Airbnbs. And my room always just has a shit bed. This was like the first time in a while, like I got an amazing bed just like they got. So I'm stoked about that. Can catch up on about, I don't know, 3, 4 months of sleep. All right. So here's soybean meal. And it is looking very choppy. I wouldn't do anything here. I don't need to go into too much analysis here, but we'll keep an eye on it. So get oil. Soybean oil. Yeah, kind of interesting. I mean, tag there, came back down. You got a little flash. You got some 4760. You're at all this monthly resistance. But look, the daily, I don't have like a pattern that I like to trade. So I'll wait, but there could be some resistance up here. I don't know. I'm not crazy about it. Let's finish off with, well, no, we'll look at the meats. We got, what is this, live cattle. We got the hogs, I think. I don't think I'd trade the feeder cattle. Bitcoin we can look at before we go, guys. Why not? I'll add that. All right, let's see here. We're looking at the live cattle. April contract. See, these are, look at this, just beautiful. Exhaust, boom, boom. I mean, oh, look, right at the quarterly. I mean, that's what we like. Weekly gave you something pretty good. See, you want to match it all up. And then you say like, right, like here, you just like, this is kind of the moment we're at right now with indices, right? We came down. Well, look, if tomorrow in the indices you get something like that, that's where you short. Boom. And then you short, take your money. And then you get a pop. You short, take your money, right? Short, take your money. This is the kind of stuff we're looking. We're getting the groove. All right. So for right now on live cattle. Oh, that's why I'm scratching my because I got so much sun on my face today too. Before I was walking around without sunscreen on, and then I only put it on when I went into the ocean. So I'm like, I think I got a little bit of sunburn. because that can get a little itchy. I don't really see anything I like on cattle right now, so let's just give this time to mature. Let's look at hogs. We will trade cattle, hogs. I don't care what the market is. When I see the pattern, everything looks good. That's when we have the odds. That's when we take the trade. Are we going to win all of them? No. Are we going to win, a good chunk of them? I sure think so. And then do we make more on our winners than we lose on our losers? Yeah. Okay. Do we have an edge? Yes. Do we have a positive expectancy? Yes. That's what we want. All right. So here's hogs bombing out to the downside. Looks very weak. I mean, at this, we'd probably be looking at short pullbacks here based on breaking all that. So 90. Yeah. Okay. That's what we'll do. All right. Let me just load some Bitcoin for you. Is this Bitcoin? BT. Let's see. Is this the micro Bitcoin? Let me just load this. All right, guys. Well, Bitcoin's loading. Let's just see. Well, let's see what they say about corn here. We're at Top Step, the markets we can trade, right? So what products can we trade? Because I want to check. Okay, so we can trade hogs, but we can't trade. Oh yeah, we can trade cattle. Nice. Where is the Bitcoin? Can we trade? There it is. Micro Bitcoin, yeah, MBT. So, and we can trade Ethereum. So we'll look at that too. All right. And then corn, I don't really. I know we're allowed to trade corn, right? I think. Where's the CBOT? CBOT. Yeah, we can trade corn. I don't know if they make us close for that little period. We got to find that out. Can you swing trade? No. No Forex. CBOT, commodity. Oh, guys, look at this right in front of my face. You probably saw that before I did. No orders will be accepted. If you have an open CBOT commodity during that time, the manual lockout feature will not be available. So what does that mean? Does that mean am I allowed to, be in a position? I don't know. You guys tell me. If it says no orders are accepted, does that mean like if we are holding a position going into that, but like our stop gets blown out, we're not really in or whatever? I don't know. I'd be willing to take the risk, but I got to find out. Let me know what you guys think. Okay, so Bitcoin. Well, apparently we're in the March contract, which is Bitcoin Micro BAH. So let's see what Sierra calls it. It's MBT, right? So why does this then say G? I mean, let's try it. It should be March. So MBT H. Let's see if that loads for us, guys. Ethereum. I don't know. I don't even feel like looking at that right now. But Bitcoin, hopefully we can. All right. Let's see if this loads. Why not? Let's not be lazy. Question is, how many of these can I trade? Because you can only trade the micro. But like, on my accounts right now, I got like 4,000 whatever across 3 of them for like 13 grand. And that other one, I got 6,500. So can I trade like 10 micro Bitcoin contracts? That would give, and how much is a Bitcoin micro contract? I got to figure these things out on these markets. I haven't traded with Top Step before. If you guys have, please let me know. It's buzzing at me. Um, the monthly, you got some support here, but weekly's looking a little. So, yeah, I mean, I don't really get a clear read on that right now. Guys, let's do Ethereum tomorrow. I don't have the energy for it right now. Let's just finish with Bitcoin. So look, I went through all this. Not only do we have a good foundation heading into the week, we got we directional bias, like levels, reads. We're waiting for things to develop. This is how you trade, right? For today, I gotta say I don't dislike corn from the long side at like whatever I said. Go back and watch. I think what did I say? Like 503 potentially. With a stop at like 500.5 and then a target just way, I don't know what the target would be. Let's look at the target. But again, I'll give you the exact numbers in Discord. So if you want the exact entry and all that kind of stuff for corn, um, go to Discord and I will make a section there. Like I think I already have a section. Well, let's go look at the Discord. Testing. Guys, I don't know. I think my mic was having difficulties. So hopefully it wasn't the whole video, but it seems to be working right now. I don't know what the hell is going on. Maybe it's, I don't know. Seems working now. So the Discord, let's look at Discord. So I'll put my corn idea here in market analysis, okay? So go join the Discord if you want to see where we're going to potentially be buying corn, and everything we do each day is going to be listed here. I'll put the link below the video. I don't know if I already said that. I'm tired. All right, you guys, I got to go to the beach with my family and hang out. So hopefully you found this interesting and insightful and fun. I did. Wouldn't change it for the world. This allows us to live our life, trade, hang out, be in Costa Rica, get a sunburn, surf. It's a beautiful situation. Lily does agree we should buy corn, which is awesome. So yeah, I think I might just go for it. But I will let you know in Discord. Cheers, everybody. Comments, questions, whatever, leave them below in the comment section. I try to get back to everybody. If I don't get back to your question, it means I didn't see it or something. So just ask it again and whatever. All right. And like, share, subscribe, please. That's awesome. And go join the Discord. That's where the YouTube is like we're putting out the information. The Discord is where we act on it, share ideas, stuff like that. And it's pretty sweet. All right. See you guys.